Hello everybody, Darren here, and welcome to my brand new Let's Play in Anno 1800. This series is a continuation of my previous Let's Play, but this time it'll be predominantly focused on Anno 1800's DLC content. Straight away in this episode, we're going to be visiting the Arctic, building in Enbesa, and touching up Crown Falls. Everything in the Old World and New World has been stabilized so that we can pay maximum attention to the newest content, but of course, as we progress sometime in the future, we'll revisit the Old World to add the Palace and the Research Institute, and of course, with Anno 1800's Docklands DLC on the horizon, we'll incorporate that too, as well as future Season 3 content. Now, just before we begin, this Let's Play will be uploaded Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Sundays, and all future episodes will go up on my Let's Play channel, Republic of Let's Play. In fact, Episode 2 should already be released right now, and links can be found in the description and comment sections. As for what you can expect, I plan on building a beautiful and functional city. This isn't a min-max playthrough, but a bit more relaxed, where we can be creative and design something fun. If you'd rather watch from the very beginning of this save, please check out my previous Let's Play to see exactly how we got to where we are now. But with this series being new, I'll explain what you need to know so you're all caught up. Alright, let's begin. So welcome to Swords. This is sort of our capital in the Old World, and the first thing that I want to do is basically start our expedition to go to the Arctic. So, we have the Passage Expedition here in our list of expeditions. We can assign a ship, and we're going to add the HMS Terror, of course, our Great Eastern, of which we already have Salima the shipping operator and the Great White Flag. That's not necessarily needed, but it is 40 diplomacy, so we'll take it for now. So if we look up force is what we're going to need on the ship. We can take the Inspector, has force 25. We need to look up as well hunting. We can take the Veteran Whaler. He's also got the trait Diver, so he might come in particularly useful, depending on what we come across. And we're going to grab some rum and champagne. That's going to give us some diplomacy and medicine, just in case we run into anything particularly bad. Seems all good. Let's go. So while that ship is off doing its thing and we're uncovering the Arctic, hopefully, I thought we'd take the time to just really quickly go over some of the islands that I have currently in this save to sort of introduce you to what's going on. Also, the diplomatic state of the game right now as it stands is we are allies with the pirates Jean Lafortune and Anne Harlow. We're also allies with Bente Jorgensen. We are no longer allied with Arthur Gasparov, but he is actually at war with Bente. So currently he's kind of taking some islands away from her. We used to have Lady Margaret Hunt in the game, but we defeated her. I guess minor spoilers for the previous season or series. So Lady Margaret Hunt is no longer in the game. These two are at war, trying to just keep peace across the board if we can. I'm not looking to get into any more fights. I think we can all agree, for those who watched it previously, it's a little bit tedious. But hopefully we can kind of maintain the status quo with shares and things like that. So this is our capital island of Swords. Essentially on this island we're broken into several districts. We kind of have our worker district here. It's kind of the main focal point of the island as you kind of come in from the docks. Looking pretty nice. We have, well, if I do say so myself, but I mean, people were generous in their comments before and they think it looks good. But yeah, nothing too crazy to kind of talk about here. It's largely just groups of worker estates with pockets of town halls, a focal point of the church, and some police buildings and hospitals in the center of the town. And then we have different items in these buildings to kind of extend the ranges of said police station, marketplace, etc. As we work our way up to the hills, we have the artisan districts, particularly proud area for me. We used to have it a bit more Christmas themed, but seeing as Christmas has passed, we've now just kind of filled in with some extra restaurants and things like here, outside of the church and the variety theater and the university. Then we have our kind of farmer village. There we go. The HMS Terror has departed. Then we have our sort of farmer village overlooking the grain village and potato village that we actually built very early on in the old series, probably in episode 1 or 2. And these are kind of like small little pockets of houses that people work in their farms. Same with out here. These are actually Bright Harvest activated. You'll notice several tractors milling along them, and we have a fuel station somewhere nearby to help that out. I think it's just right there. Then we've got our kind of St. James's Gate is what we called it, which is largely our contained industrial breweries, malt, and schnapps. So anything used in alcohol production is pretty much gone in there. And it's all, of course, electrically powered, electrically charged. And then we have our engineer and investor district. So we have our focal point of the engineer district, which is the Clearwater Pool, as well as the children's playground for the investors, upper class kids perhaps. And then as we work our way kind of up the city a little bit, uphill towards the World's Fair, we have, of course, our variety theater, bank, and so on and so forth. Now, I'm not going to do this for absolutely every island. This is just like our capital island, so this is kind of the one that is probably one of the most beautiful that we've made. Across from that, straight across, we have Rush, which is really just built to kind of harvest the red peppers and the hops here and ship them over for other things. We then also have the island of Lusk, which is our production-focused island. This is an entire island with no settlements on it. Instead, it uses a commuter pier to transfer the workforce, and it's really just dedicated to all things industry. Everything to do with ironworks, smelting, and engineer production, everything you can think of is pretty much moved out here, almost everything, except for instance the beer that we saw on the previous island. And then other than that, we just conquered a couple islands from Margaret before. We haven't really done much with them. Maybe in future we'll do something, but we're using them to get their different ores at the moment. And then maybe in future we also have a little challenge here if we want to build something kind of nice out on Null. So in the New World, we have our kind of capital of the New World, Puerto Banús. Essentially all kind of packed out on this sort of Costa del Sol style beach where our obreros are looking over the beach. Looks quite nice. Really particularly proud of this area also. I think it looks quite good. Although some things can maybe be Actually, there's been an update to the game where you can put old world ornaments in the New World. So this place could definitely be shaken up if we really wanted it to. This island predominantly is focused on coffee. Mass coffee plantations out here. And that coffee is then used and sent back to the old world. We've actually got too much. We can't even store it. We can't even satiate the demand. The coffee roasters are brimming as well. Multiple ships kind of come by and pick it up. And then the other two islands that are most important here, we have Benevis, which basically just makes caoutchouc and a little bit of oil. Then we have Guadalmina, which is focused on pearls. People actually called me out on this. I forgot to do this. Add a little road to that one there. So this one's focused on pearls and tobacco, and then this island of Marbella is really focused on sugarcane and chocolate that gets kind of all refined here and shipped around. All of this, of course, has its own, all their trade routes are all set and ready to go. Our money should not fluctuate, our population should also not fluctuate. Everything should be set and stable now for a long time to come. Of course, though, currently we're at about 5,000 investors globally, and eventually we'd like to bring that up to 10,000 to run better World's Fair events. So we're going to also work towards that in future. Fenty wants to settle islands. We'll of course let her. The last thing then would be Cape Trelawney. So Cape Trelawney, we built a sort of Manhattan-style city on the islands, and that's kind of where I plan on building out these islands. The quest chain for sunken treasures has largely been completed, though there are some things left to do with regards to building a capital city, and eventually we'll probably put the palace out here as it is our most attractive city by having like our museum, our zoo, and botanical garden. So this place is definitely in dire need of being cleaned up a little bit, and I want to move a lot of the farms up here. Unlike most people who play this game, I decided I want to do something different with Crown Falls, which is kind of turn it into a big, robust farming hub, which is a really weird thing to do, but there is so much space here. Most people want to put down loads of houses. I find it really boring building in a grid, so I decided, yeah, we're actually going to instead build farms, and I think all the farms can really probably fit up here, with many more down here, with bright harvest trains carrying the oil and fuel to them. We should have pretty much every bit of land we'd ever need to get out here. And that's basically it. The other islands are just kind of blank islands, really, that we're holding on to for future. But yeah, that's basically an introduction to the entire campaign as is. Now, we do have Enbesa.
Good of you to save a secret garden just for me.
We have visited Enbesa, and we did build a little bit, but I've deleted all of that now because we want to build from it fresh, as it is part of the sort of DLC content experience that this Let's Play is going to be focused in. So we're kind of building from scratch, although we have started with a little bit of construction material, and we have several islands already, but the quest chains here have not been touched yet. We have the islands of Tabarim, Wahadesha, and Cadusi and Etoni ripe for the picking, and the story, which we'll get to. And then we also have the Pirates of Angareb. So we're going to be waiting for the expedition to kind of give us notifications and let us know how we're progressing towards the Arctic. And in that time, we're going to be building here at Tabarim. So, previously, and most people, you start by default with your dock here, or your warehouse. And I've decided that I've moved it over to this side because obviously the water deposits for the canals are located here on the rivers, and no water is really going to reach that far out. Your town actually, weirdly, doesn't need water other than a fire station if you want to have that. You don't actually have to have one either. So what I plan on doing is basically extending out the canal somewhere out here and building our city really in this part of the game, or part of the island. There's been an explosion. Oh dear. Do we have a fire station out here? We do. We have multiple. Let's just mobilize them. We'll get to that and come back to it. Anyways, so what I'm going to be doing to kick things off is kicking off with a big time lapse of building up our first city here again at Tabarine. I'll see you on the other side. Alright, first time lapse of the series. It's exciting stuff, and this one is actually broken into several segments because I will be stopping to check on the expedition in the Arctic every now and then. For the people who are familiar with how I like to build, you know, I obviously do everything in blueprint mode first, and I try to push as many buildings up against the mountains and cliff edges as possible first, and then try to fill in a more organic looking road structure. I try not to build grids too much, because it'd be kind of boring in my opinion. But I also decided to build the musician's courts as sort of cul-de-sac, so only one way that would lead in, and then the musician's court is surrounded by houses, and that kind of makes it feel like they're little micro-communities surrounding those things, instead of having them in big, large, open areas. And this will make a bit more sense when the roads go down. That first one isn't a perfect example of it, but the other one will be, as you'll see a bit later. Alright, so we've had our first event. It is late summer when the expedition reaches the chilling sound, and yet the conditions in these icy seas are already challenging. The wind only has to pick up, and the men are tugging up their collars and tramping below deck. It seems hopeless to think Sir John Faithful's men could have lasted 3 winters here. Beyond chilling sound, the seaway divides. To the west lies a chain of small islands separated by partially melted ice. To the south, a long dark headland crowned with snow that hazes out of sight. Excuse me. I think we'll go south. I think we can handle it. Let's do it. Now, of course, the story as it stands is that we have had Lady Jane Faithful is looking for her missing husband who went on an expedition up in the north. That's as far as I remember. An Arctic welcome. As you near the coast, a large human construction delineates itself. Quote, most probably an abandoned trading post of the Huddlesome Bay Company. It leans hard into the wind, its once red boards now scoured pale. If Sir John and his crew came this way, they would likely have stopped here. How are we gonna get there, sir? Says the ship's boy. He's noticed that an ice sheet lies between your ship and the trading post. Take the safest route by avoiding the cracks and using our tugboatman, I think. Diver guy. Actually, what is... Oh, he's a veteran whaler. How dare I get it wrong. Has a bonus success chance of 30. Measure the thickness of the ice or risk walking over it. I think we'll obviously go with this then. Bonus success chance 30. Let's go. Your crew's instincts are solid. Keeping just the right distance, they move at a purposeful speed, avoiding the cracks and dark splodges indicative of thinner ice. They reach the abandoned building without incident. Alright. Alright. Give the lads a bit more rum. Keep it going. Alright, let's resume the time lapse. Alright, so just picking up where we left off, decided to kind of fill in the roads now and make sure that there wasn't any gaps in between houses or we'd left any houses stranded, had to connect it up to the harbour to test that and actually, you know, build the buildings. And then here with the second musician's court, I've decided to, like I said, build a bit more like a cul-de-sac, have houses almost going all the way around it to give it a very small community feel. And then in and around the marketplace, putting down different tents and stalls just to make it look like the market's kind of overflowing and extending into the kind of town itself, into the residents themselves. Filling in basically all the roads, and I noticed that there are a couple of houses that, you know, I made a little mistake with, so just kind of readjusting and removing things around. And the way I kind of go about this is, when you've got like turns in the roads and stuff like that, at these specific corners, I often put down trees, because typically, instead of cutting down a tree, they will just move, you know, the road will just go around it. So it can look very natural doing it that way. Alright, so we have yet another chapter in our expedition. Huddlesome Bay. At least it's a shelter, the captain remarks. The men shut the doors on the wind to find the building interior licked with frost. Rusted hooks hang from the beams, relics of a short-lived fur trade. Comforts are few and far between out here. I doubt Sir John would have passed it by. There must be some evidence of the lost expedition here. So we could search for signs of recent use or find information about the local area. Let's find information. Something to go on at least. Whoever the fur traders were, they left in a rush. Papers and maps are strewn about, some trodden and sodden into mush, and precious few dry and intact. Dockets are found relating to consignments received from a nearby Inuit settlement named Ivujivik, something like that, which also happens to be marked on a fragment of a map. The Inuit are sure to have noticed anyone passing through, says the captain. We should visit them. So we could continue south towards the Inuit settlement. Yeah, let's go there. The crew marked the position of the Inuit settlement on the map and set sail. Boom. Alright, let's continue the time lapse. Alright, so now we have time to place our ornaments. So all those little gaps in between houses and the police station, stuff like that, that's perfect for now putting down lots of ornaments where they make sense. You know, in between the police station, you might have a little fence and a little gap in the fence that leads to a well. And I decided then to just lay out all the kind of cobble-locked or paved roads, just because it looks a lot nicer, and then we can really see what fits, I guess, in between certain areas. So, for instance, instead of just having grass that touches cobble-lock or paving, I decided to go with the flower bed instead. And I actually like the flower bed so much, I didn't realize there was this, like, tree flower bed ornament. So I decided to use that in place of the other trees. So it's like, oh, these trees were here before, but they've actually now been, you know, kind of well-kept, watered, and decorated and things like that. So I think it can look a lot nicer than just a random tree. Obviously just fixing some ruins that we had around the place. Alright, we have the next chapter of our expedition, Nanook's Way. The route to the Inuit settlement of Ivujivik is a 2-day trek by foot across exposed ice flats. A small expedition party set off, leaving the rest at sea to await their return. Although the going is tough, it is not that which preoccupies the crew. As night falls, they are sure something is following them. Stop for the night and keep watch with the veteran whaler, or continue to walk despite being cold and exhausted. I mean, the bonus chance is obviously much better for this one, but I kind of feel like I want to use... what's her name? The Inspector. I'm going to go against my better judgment. It just seems too obvious, so I'm going to go with this one.
There be monsters abroad.
One of the men struggles to keep up with his unsympathetic comrades. He is the runt, the weakest of the pack, and the polar bear knows it. The rest of the group hear a piercing scream followed by the sound of crunching and tearing. Moments later, Mama Bear is bounding across the snow towards them, hungry for more. Oh shit. Organize and defend yourselves, or use cunning to trick the bear. Well, he is hunting. We're somewhat prepared either way. Well, let's double down on our Inspector. Organize and defend. Years of ambush drills pay off. Quickly forming a circle, your men level their guns into the half-light. Sensing the danger they pose, Mama Bear grows more cautiously, and after a single circuit of your camp, disappears out of sight. Full of adrenaline, your scout party reach the Inuit camp. I mean, geez, we still lost the guy though. Feels pretty bad. Alright, let's continue. Back to the time lapse. So now we're starting with some of our production chains, and we have this canal that stretches all the way into the town here. So trying to make use of as much of that fertile soil as possible, I've decided to put down the goat farms right alongside it. Now the goat farms are the first chain that you actually need for your residence, and it basically just gives you exactly what you need. You don't have to refine it or anything like that. Putting it on fertile soil obviously gives you twice as much out of it, and you don't have to do that, but for agricultural farms where you grow things, you do. So the goat farms are all laid out perfectly there. They actually totally have full coverage of fertile soil, and the linseed farms up here. The thing is, the production building itself doesn't need to be on fertile soil, it's just the modules do. So I decided to kind of map out exactly where they needed to fit to make use of the natural fertile soil coming from the river, and then kind of follow our canal down. Even though it isn't laid out in a perfect grid where we're covering everything with fertile soil, it doesn't really matter as long as you're using it, because you're not losing anything then. If you have gaps where you're just not using fertile soil, or you're building on the fertile soil with the buildings, then you're wasting space. But I haven't actually done that, so I actually think it's relatively efficient, despite it looking like a bit of a weird shape, I guess you could say. But yeah, so essentially we've got the linen mill. We have 4 of the basic farm buildings, then 2 linen mills, and then 4 embroiderers. So that's 4, 2, 4. And then that works out just fine. With a couple of warehouses there, we should be good to go. Alright, we have our next chapter of the expedition, Ivujivik. Ivujivik is a semi-permanent settlement. The Inuit appear worried, but nevertheless offer your men every hospitality, inviting them into a large igloo where they are served a hearty suasat, a meat stew, under the silent gaze of what feels like the whole village. A girl, Tapisa, is able to translate, and the others warm up when they hear the story of your journey over the ice flats. Soon the subject turns to Sir John's lost expedition. Tapisa shows you items that look like they belonged to the missing men. Offer to trade for the relics or ask how they got a hold of them. Yeah, I don't think I care about the... Well, they could be good items. I guess let's have a look. What do you got? Collection of lost expedition relics, rare. Part of the Icebound set, an assortment of seemingly worthless miscellaneous items that belong to the crew of the lost expedition. No chance whatsoever right now. Okay, well, throw that in there, and I'll give you some champagne. 10 tons of champagne. She's like, I'm done. Great. Okay, easy enough. Ivujivik. By the way, I know it's champagne. Just so you know. Your trade was accepted. Silver cutlery embossed with the names of Hades and Styx. These are for Sir John's expedition ships from them. There are also cufflinks belonging to Sir John engraved with assorted marsupials and a knife handle with the emblem of the Arctic Council. Tapisa says that about a year ago some men came wanting to know about channels through the ice and traded their things for information. She points to the west coast of Terrier Island on your map. Boom. Alright, let's keep going. That's a long expedition. Back to Enbesa. Alright, so our first tier of residents almost has everything they need. We've got our goat's milk, our musician's quartz, and our finery. I'm just going to set up wood production down here really quickly because we forgot to do that. And then we can get to work on dried meat. Now, the first thing is going to be the Sangha farms. Now, Sangha farms are very similar to goat farms, but their modules are slightly bigger. So a good trick is to actually build them across the roads or across canals if you have them. And that way, you just make use of space way more, like way better, and you can irrigate each one of them. Having 2 of them counts to having 4 because they're irrigated, so combine that with 2 salt works. And then I decided to move the dry houses up into the town because I thought they looked like quite natural kind of looking buildings. I'll probably end up moving them a bit further, but we got called by the newspaper. Special guest comes bearing gift. Distinguished guest gifts generously to fabulous Crown Falls, stating, "Rarely have I seen such pleasant and thriving herbs in all my years of travel. The honor is mine." I actually have no idea what that means. Did we get a gift? I don't know. Well, either way, it's kept people happy. Low risk of explosions. Well, we had 2 quite recently, but good to hear. And the Promised Land. Settlers arrive in numbers to swords, its illustrious doors opening to reveal a shimmering utopia.
My first tip-off was a riot at a mill.
Of course.
I got to the picket line only to take a stone to the head. When I came to, everyone and my story had vanished.
Of course, if they lived here, they'd know not to expect that, but still, growth is good.
We have the devil to pay.
Alright, well, let's pay the devil.
We're adrift.
The Narrows. The west coast of Terrier Island is snaggled up with monstrous horns of ice. Navigation is going to be tricky. Will the Narrows lead back once more to open water, or will your ship end up stuck? You can navigate carefully, get a better view of the channels from a nearby rock, or send scouts ahead in rowboats to sea. Find a path in the Narrows using our Great Eastern ship itself and the veteran whaler. We have the force by sending men up the slope and send scouts in rowboats to check, also 30%. We'll find a path through the Narrows. I'm sure our Great Eastern can handle it, although it is a massive ship. To their relief, your crew reached the open sea on the other side. As there is a lack of consensus on magnetic north at this time, your navigators decide to ignore the compasses and trust their instincts, saving them a collision on more than one occasion. Their crew enters King William Sound, a majestic carpet of water leading up to its seat, King William Island. Sensing something, Lady Faithful suddenly emerges from below deck and voices the determined hopes of her heart. And here we have it, the Arctic.
We shouldn't expect to find them right away. This is a vast wilderness. It's been 2 years. The Admiralty say they've tried everything. But then they haven't lost a husband.
So cool.
Nor did it occur to them to search King William Sound. There! A camp! abandoned. But we imagined as much, didn't we? And my John picked a fine spot. Perhaps they left some sign as to where they went.
No pun intended, but the Arctic gives me chills. The music is so good. Alrighty. Man, it's exciting. It's been a really long time.
Say there would be rewards. That's for finding my John's camp.
No worries. 50k. Alright, here we are at the very eastern corner of the map.
My John's camp shall serve for us. From here, we can search to any length and breadth.
Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful.
Token of my people's good.
Hey, thanks, John La Fortune. Appreciate it. Click on the old trading post. We'll wait to get there. I was going to say, the Arctic is, in my opinion, the most beautiful region in the game by far. I just think it looks stunning. The job that Blue Byte did on this is just really incredible. Like, really, really incredible. I don't think there's like a strategy game, kind of a city builder game that looks as good as this. And especially this region in particular. I mean, look at it. Look at it. I'll try to keep the camera still, give you the best YouTube compression view. It looks amazing. It looks amazing. So I'm delighted that we can finally come up here. So there will have been no settlers up here. We've got ships obviously back in the old world waiting to go, actually. So we have the Augustus Extravaganza steamer, we have the Endurance. Now I'm actually not too sure what you need to colonize it, but we're just going to send everything up there right now. And hopefully we can get the materials together to then colonize it. Actually, you know what? I'll leave one ship. I'll leave the flagship here. Maybe we can find something for it. I'm assuming it's probably just, you know, wood and steel. I just can't quite remember. For different regions, it tends to be a little bit different. One last thing I'd meant to do was fix the ruins here. There we go. Alright. Now here we go. King William Island. This isn't the music I want. I want the music. Give me the music. It's not changing music. It's supposed to change music. My atmosphere. Let's go somewhere else. Maybe it'll... Alright. Should work now. Alright, here we go. King William Island. Sir John Faithful.
We'll rake over the remains and then make a refuge for ourselves.
You may have survived the journey to the Arctic and found Sir John's old camp, but the search for his lost expedition has only just begun. Lady Faithful has suggested establishing a base of operations at the place her husband picked to winter before continuing to search from there. Alright, so we have to clear some things. So, just as an FYI, we're probably not going to go back to Enbesa for a while. We're going to stay in the Arctic just to have a bit more focus in the next couple of episodes. Then we'll go to Enbesa when we feel like we've got some time and start progressing the quest chains out there. Just so we're not divided too much, but obviously we want to spend time in both. But seeing as this is a new region, we want to be colonizing islands up here fast. We're going to try and stay here for a while. So, clear the abandoned camps and search them. What's left of Sir John Faithful's makeshift quarters. The remains of the camp left behind by the crew of the HMS Hades and Styx. And it's completely empty now. Some abandoned storage facilities.
Hold hard, a crag. Heaped by Highland hand. It's well worth our time.
First, get all you faithful some shelter. And a canteen where they can warm each other up.
Look at the detail. The little footprints. None of them are moving right now, but I was going to say the footprints do move with them. Yeah, there they go. Amazing. Alright, cool. So, pick up the belongings from Sir John.
John's log. Open it. He knew we would come for him.
Read Sir John's log.
If HMS Hades and Styx came this way, the Inuit must have seen them. Maybe they can help us.
Logbook of Commander Sir John Reginald Patience, St. Smithon Faithful. November 14th, 1847. Made camp on King William Island. It shall shelter us for the winter. January 3rd, 1848. Met a group of Inuit to the northwest. They were reluctant at first, but later approached us to trade for iron. They offered us dead seals, which of course we civilly declined. Having enough fine canned food aboard Styx and Hades to last a lifetime, but instead they may know of a route to the Northwest Passage. March 11th, so 3 months later. The Inuit led us to a channel heading deeper into the ice. The Inuit looked worried, but our instruments report freeze is thinning by the day. Time for our mighty icebreakers to prove their prowess. So, soon we shall be the first to cut the miracle shipping canal bridging east and west. We set out tomorrow. Alright, so find the Inuit is something we're going to have to do, and settlement on King William Island. So Old Nate is up here, and he says it's time to set up camp in the Arctic. As per usual, the first step is to provide some housing for the explorers, and a canteen for them to warm up between shifts. Now, what kind of goods do we have? We got some wood as a basic resource, and we also were given steel, if I'm not mistaken. We perhaps could go colonize right now. Let's leave our rum and champagne here.
I have declared war on your ally. Sorry to put you on the spot.
She's declared war on Jean Lafortune. Well, I could side with Benty, I guess. Break the alliance or side with Jean? I'm hoping that's what this means. I want to side with Jean. Well, I don't want to go to war with Benty. Just break the alliance. How about that? Let's see what happens.
We all have our reasons. Don't let me stop you.
Oops.
I shall treasure the time we had as friends.
To be honest, I don't need an alliance, but I'll just
I look forward to working
keep him
with
happy. Benty's fine. Should be fine. Okay, so let's pick up that construction material. Let's just take 10 of each for now. Well, I'll take 20 just in case it needs more. And we'll go explore. So we'll go southwest, and then we can get building. So let's see what we need to do first. So find the Inuit, build a canteen. You know what? Let's bring our flagship up here. We can explore even faster, yeah?
Seductive charms bury my desk.
Well, I'm sure they do.
Deep down, I know you're a tattletale.
The sun sets in the Arctic. The sun rises. Just like that. Alright. Actually, I'm going to leave that open. So, build a canteen and explore shelter. So we'll just kind of follow what we need to do here. I'm not going to get too crazy or creative with it just yet. We'll just make kind of what's required of us, and then we'll set things up. Space will always be tough in the Arctic, and there's no ornaments here either, so things never really look that good.
You reach a new milestone.
So, in the Arctic, we have explorers that are going to move in these kind of makeshift tents. Whoops, sorry. In these sort of makeshift tents, they'll have like a little canteen. They're going to need heating as well.
Enough to freeze the balls off a brass monkey. Oh, get a coal fire's burning. Post haste.
So fighting the cold. The Arctic cold is no small challenge. If you don't want your recruits to freeze to death, you'll have to keep them warm. Old Nate has devised a heating system that runs on coal, but watch out. The heat won't travel far. Alright, so we need to build a heater, set up a charcoal kiln, and sustain heat for a while. So here we have the needs and heat. So they don't have desires, they have needs, and instead of luxury desires, they have heat. Heat can be achieved through the coal burners, as well as getting items like sleeping bags, and even schnapps. Let's just have a look at our ship that's exploring right now. Is there an island over here? Doesn't look like there is anything. There was one here. Everything has their own fertilities out here as well. Old Nate is up here with his little airship. Looks like he's exploring a cave or something in this little particular island. Alright, let's keep our other ship has arrived as well. So we're just going to hit all four corners.
Your ship has returned from its
And use this one to maybe go the other way, actually. That'd be good. There we go. So we have our Extravaganza steamer, and we have our Great Eastern up here. And our flagship is on the way. So yeah, let's set up this heat. And this ship, by the way, is Lady Jane Faithful's Clipper.
Should not diminish.
She's just chilling over there. I'm gonna say chill quite a lot. Get over it. We should definitely go for a walk around here as well. Just bear with me one second. Just want to take a quick drink. All right. Excuse me. Okay, so heaters. Yeah. So we need a charcoal kiln first to get our heaters up and running. Let's just make one over here for now. And let's just line that up. And then we need an actual heater. So the heater provides heat over a limited area. It takes 30 seconds for one heat to be burned, or one coal to be burned, I guess, sorry, to create heat. And it needs to be in range of a warehouse, right? I think, to get its stuff. And this is the range of its heat. So we could build it right around here, and that would actually heat the entire block. So we're going to need that warehouse. We'll just set it up about there. We're lacking wood, so let's get wood production rolling as well. We'll just set it up close by for now, and then in future we'll just move it to somewhere else. Alright, cool. Actually, you know what? I guess this doesn't make any sense, so let's just put it up here. Something like that. There we go. Oh, it does make sense. I just realized why I'm an idiot. Okay. It's because, well, first of all, I meant to check what we can even settle on. They did give me the wood to build everything I would need. But I have taken it away to see if we can settle things. The reason I'm an idiot is because, of course, the lumberjack hut's going to be there, and then this is going to give us wood. I'm guessing our other ship is already on the way. Okay, I'll just come back down with this then, I guess. Not a big deal. Just wait a little while. Straight away made a mistake. Feels good. Alright, supply that heat for whatever amount of time. That seems to be working. 10 seconds left to go. So the heater has its coal. It's been fed straight into it, and then that's heating this entire area. And that's basically giving these guys up to chilly temperature at the moment. And that basically causes a chance of sickness. So the higher this is, the less chance they'll get sick. To deal with sickness, we'll build ranger stations, I think.
Oh, that's nice on the hands. Keep it stoked or we'll catch our deaths out here.
Feels good. Alright, now we have to find the Inuit.
Cargo stations.
So, in the Arctic, we have islands that actually cannot be settled via the coastline. They have to be reached via an airship, which we'll get to later. But this is a prime example of an island like that. They're glaciers, and they don't really have anything on them except one thing, which is gas. And gas can be used in a gas-fired power plant back in the old world to replace an oil power plant. So you don't need railways and things like that. You just need to deliver it gas, which is a good in its own right. Comes out of a warehouse and goes into a gas-fired power plant. I'm actually not too sure on if there's any differences. Like, does a gas-fired power plant go further? Does it consume less often than oil? I'm assuming it does, but I'd have to check on that again before we get one up and running. So I think a lot of people often say that the Arctic isn't really, quote, worth it in terms of getting it all set up because it's expensive to do, and you have to, these islands will be not easily self-sustainable, right? They're not self-sustainable. They have to constantly get stuff in to keep people happy so you can just get gas and bring it back. Is it worth it? Maybe not, but it's fun. And I like having fun. So I'll be setting them up regardless because it's good fun to do.
New orders.
I've noticed, you may notice a little bit of stuttering every now and then. Since the latest update, I'm getting that. I don't know what the cause of that is. Looks like we have a massive ice wall that we can't quite get past. Another benefit of the Arctic, though, is that fur is more abundant up here, as is gold. You get way more out of a gold deposit here than you normally do in the New World. And if you remember from our previous Let's Play, our previous series, I haven't actually set up anything to do with gold. We just buy gold from the pirates. So having a gold production set up out here would make a lot of sense for us. Alright, that ship seems to be figuring its way around. Hopefully we'll find the Inuit up there soon. They did say northwest.
New orders?
Let's try to clear some of that fog of war as well. So where's our ship? Our ship is just turning the corner now, delivering that last bit of wood.
Room to maneuver.
And then everything else should get up and running. We just build that warehouse and then we're good to go. We can build more houses. Sorry for the little delay on that. Feels good to be in the Arctic though, man. Feels damn good. It's been a long road. But it's nice for you guys if you're just watching for the first time, first episode. Boom. Alright, we dropped that back in just for now. To be honest, I could keep the steel actually, but let's get that set up. Ah, right, yeah, I forgot. Actually, even the workplaces need to be heated. So that's a big part of it. The Arctic is pretty tough, I feel like, compared to just regular Anno. It can be particularly unforgiving. So our heating works all the way up to here. If we connect this, it might go a bit further. Ah, not quite as far as we need it to.
A shaman must help those in need.
We'll have to set up two.
He will share what we know.
So, let's see what our burn rate of coal is. So, we're currently making 2, but we're consuming up to 4 once the other things get running. So it's 1 to 1, basically, is what it's telling me. So we'll just make another one of these a little bit further in. I think they can be built relatively on top of each other and be quite alright. Let's just hook it up this way for now.
I will show you where those.
Oh, we found the Inuit. Sorry, my bad. There they are. Sail to the starting point. Alright.
Aye.
So here we go. Eagle River. And we have Kumak. Hey, there's one of those little totem things.
Found something?
Found something? Maybe. Follow the Inuit boat. Alright, let's follow. We can see where they do their little bit of ice fishing. They have some wolves as pets. And I guess for hunting as well, maybe, and for maybe sleigh riding. Man, we are tailing that ship. We are right on it. Well, it's going to take us on a little journey. I'm zooming in a lot and staying quiet just so you guys can hopefully soak up the atmosphere. I think it's important, at least in the Arctic. And, you know, people often comment that they want me to zoom in a little bit more and things like that. So, hopefully, you know, you let me know, but hopefully people appreciate it and don't mind. I don't really feel like I'm against the clock anymore, with Lady Margaret dead, essentially. Or out of the region, at least. So there's no pressure. Take all the time we want. Alright, we got a few extra houses going. So, what do they need? The first need is just the canteen. They've obviously got that. The next one is going to be pemmican. And then oil lamps. You think oil lamps would maybe give it a little heat, but I guess not. Schnapps and sleeping bags. So we have to get to 100 explorers before we can start to build what we need for pemmican.
Hold the crane.
Just trying to think, do I need anything else here? Nah, not really. And we should be gaining extra...
Not enough people signed up.
Yeah. We should be gaining extra wood over time as well. But obviously just built houses, so I guess we kind of have to wait. I might go back, fetch a bunch of wood, and then come back here. Might as well, right? So let's go to Cape Trelawney. It's a little bit further, actually, but I want to drop some of these items here, like this one. So the HMS Terror, even though it's kind of should be up there with the quest giver, is going to go off for a little while. It is our biggest ship, so we can carry the most stuff up here. Makes sense. While we're waiting, I might as well do out a little layout of where we can place some of these things. And just kind of keep it up against the wall there. Just something like that for now. Slam that in. the heating doesn't go all the way. So yeah, well, this will be really fun to build. Actually, once we get some better construction materials up and running, I'll probably just redesign this. I know it's weird to do that straight away, but just to get us going with the quest chain, I guess this is what I'm doing for now. But then, yeah, what we'll do is we'll really have a look at where we can put these, see where the kind of more optimal place is to keep everyone warm and stick all the houses in. So that's what I'll do. I might start doing it out here, you know, start having the blueprints in of where houses are going to go, and then start positioning in these things. That we also need a few other buildings that are it's worth waiting for, like the post office, ranger station, other things that we're going to need for surrounding areas, so it makes sense to wait.
Even quests.
She offers me a puzzle quest. I'm going to say no, but
It's every person's right to change
I'm
their
sorry,
mind.
Benty, but really, what are you going to do about it? I was going to say I wanted to do Arthur's quest. He had one here, but it's obviously gone. Oh well. Alright, let's follow our ship. We are deep inside of our ship right now. The other ship. So basically, if we just reset the camera, we have gone on a journey through the ice, right? So the Inuit are going to help us find a way to where, I guess, John was, or where he was going, or, you know, bridging that gap between where the icebreakers were going to go, between, what was it, east and west, I suppose? Hello. Let's read. The log Sir John left in the abandoned camp mentions the Inuit gave him directions. Perhaps if you found the Inuit, they'd be willing to lead you to the lost cruise. That's what we're doing. I'm falling behind. Can you fail this quest? We'll find out. I'm sure they just probably stop. Or they go back to where they were. Nailed it. There they are.
Workforce shortage.
Here we are. Here we are. He's very quiet. I don't know why he is, but Ice closed the way forward to the place they took
The
the...
Hades and Styx came this way. If it takes our last breath, we must find them. Here's something more.
Jeez, wow.
It'll take our best efforts to clear that frozen channel.
75,000. Thanks very much.
We pick up our crumbs and prepare an especial ice-breaching brigade.
Okay, the Ice Brigade. Thick ice has frozen the channel to the Lost Expedition. Lady Faithful has given you funds to equip a crack team of explorers so they can blast a way through. Increase your stock of the requested goods so you can fulfill the objective. Alright, so basically now at this point we have to start, you know, building up our population so we can get to the point where we can advance the story and find out really what's going on. As well as that, I want to clear up parts of this with our flagship. So yeah, so to get to that, we at least need, how much was it? 100 explorers. We currently have 50. We're waiting on wood to come up right now. It is a bit slow. This is missing heat. That is pretty annoying, isn't it? Can we get it there? We could just slide it over here, actually, then it has it. Insufficient workforce. Alright, we'll just need more houses, I guess. Well, I think that's going to probably have to be it for this first episode in this Let's Play. Remember, the next one is up right now on the Let's Play channel, that is. So this is going to continue immediately, if you so wish, over on my Let's Play channel, Republic of Let's Play, and all future episodes will go there. Probably in between episodes, I'll redo this area or clear it up a bit and have it make a little bit more sense, and then we can get really building now in the Arctic. Hope everybody enjoyed. I want to say thanks as well for everyone who supported the first series, which was immensely popular, at least for my channel. Really, really staggering amount of views in it, and just a ton of fun. I absolutely love Anno, and I'm just so delighted now to actually be in the Arctic again, have new kind of production chains that we can start to open up, and then maybe in a couple episodes we'll come back to Tabarim and start figuring out these quests as well. There's so many different quests and story things to do now. But Tabarim is actually pretty self-sufficient, I think, now. We set up everything we need for finery, goat milk, and dried meat. I know we didn't have a look too deeply at it, because it was just the time lapses, but this little town here is looking pretty good, in my opinion. I was hoping to put down some more actual production chains like this deeper into the town. So there is a warehouse here, so I might as well move these a bit further in to make it really pop and look quite nice. And look like it's a really bustling, busy town, because there's not many ornaments for Enbesa. And while I think I've done a relatively good job at kind of breaking things up and keeping it pretty busy, what would definitely help is, like I said, having... Be quiet, jeez. Is definitely having some of those production buildings that can look quite natural within a town. And then, yeah, of course, we have our canals with the livestock either side, and then our little production area up here. If we need to feed in canals for another farm or something, we can do that, but largely we could just keep adding more production areas up this way before we cross over into the real ripe farmlands. Alright, so that's going to be it for this episode. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Hey guys, thank you very much for watching, and remember, if you want to support this series directly, you can click the join button to become a channel member. Doing so will get your name in the credits, as well as loyalty badges and emotes to use in the comments. If you don't see the join button, it means the video has been copyright claimed, but you can still join from the channel page on desktop. You can also link your account to our Discord to get a special role on there that will give you access to the Senate House and a few other perks.